Hey, people, listen, welcome in the building, welcome in the building, welcome in the building. It's Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about, okay? And the title is called We Got Questions. We got questions. I did a We Got Questions before the other night, but we got questions. You know, part of the questions is what is with some people in going to the doctor? Some people would like to just go ahead and fall out on the street before they go to the doctor to find out what is going on with them. So we got, I don't know, you have to be, it's from my generation. The rap group Kid and Play. Well, one of the members, and it's ironic, both of their name was Christopher. Both of their first name was Christopher. So one of the sons on my screen, I'm just trying to get it all. One of the members actually had a heart transplant. And I'm like, wow. So at some point he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, had a heart transplant, and it made me think of Ray J. And I said to myself, I wonder why, maybe he can't get on the transplant list. Now, listen, let's be clear. It's not easy to get on the transplant list. And when you do get on, it's a rare thing when you actually come up, your name comes up on the list. And to get a heart is not an easy thing. So he's meant to be here because he actually was able to get a heart transplant, and it was actually somebody that was able to give him a heart, that that they passed, and he was a match and all of that. So we're going to talk about that. Then we got, his name was Kevin Johnson. I'm not a sports girl, but he's an ex-NFL player who I guess fell on bad times, was living in a homeless encampment outside, and someone took his life. And you said, well, Diva, we got questions. Well, what's your question with this story? My question is, with this story is, his son is speaking to the news. Said he spoke to his dad every day. Said he loved his dad. And my only question is, well, then why was dad in the street sleeping? Why was he homeless? You wasn't homeless next to your dad. He said his dad was loved by many people. And I said, well, I got some questions, because why was dad in the streets? And he had a cell phone, I guess, because you spoke to him every day. I'm confused. But we'll talk about it. Maybe somebody on the panel can help me, unravel my confusion. But I definitely got questions. Then we got this mom, New York City. Her body was dismembered. And you may say, she lost her life. May she rest in peace. And you may be thinking again to yourself, Deepa, well, what's your question with this? She was a mom. I think she had 2 or 3 kids before her current mate. Her and her current mate, who lived together, had a 10-month-old son. He said it pretty much was the love of his life. And listen, I understand you can't do everything with your spouse. I get it. Sometimes, maybe your spouse want to go hang out with the boys and you want to go hang out with the girls. But my question with this is, you got a 10-month-old baby. You darn near just had the baby. And you out in the streets partying without your mate. And then something crazy happened, that your body is chopped up in the back of a building or in a building basement or something like that. I don't get the partying and you got a whole family at home. But what my other question is to these people nowadays, what is with the dismemberment of the people's bodies? I don't understand that. I mean, do they think if they chop you up and throw you in different pieces, then for sure nobody's going to find you or find out what happened? And to me, you have got to be psychotic. It's one thing to take somebody's life. It's a whole nother thing to legit get a saw or something like that and you and dismembering the body. Imagine the amount of blood. People are crazy, but my question here is, may she rest in peace. But why was Mama partying like that by herself, unprotected, without her man? Listen, people, I done talked enough. Y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title's called We Got Questions, okay? We got Kid and Play, Christopher Reid. He got a heart transplant. Lucky man. Kevin Johnson, an ex-NFL player, was unalived in a brutal way. But the son saying he was loved. I loved him. I spoke to dad every day. And we got a mom whose body was dismembered. Let me bring the people on in. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button for the diva.
Thank you.
Hey, diva. Choo choo.
Choo. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, diva.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Let's get into this Kid and Play story. When I saw this, I was like, wow, he's really lucky. It's just a very interesting thing. So.
Everybody. New vibration. Roll with Kid and Play. Now everybody say.
Christopher Kid Reid, half of the iconic hip-hop duo Kid and Play, has always poured his heart into everything he does. Known for his high flat top fade, dance moves, and upbeat positive lyrics,
We present ourselves as the very best.
Reid helped bring hip-hop mainstream, not only with their music, but their cult classic house party films.
I'm never fessing, possessing the tools that it takes to rock. I think it's time for the new kid on the block.
But after performing for nearly 4 decades, Reid was surprised when he started slowing down.
Take us back to the beginning. When you first started to experience some symptoms, what were you experiencing?
Maybe over the last year or so, just started to feel a little bit more fatigued than before. And then when you feel like that shortness of breath, sleeping a lot more than normal. And I think sometimes you kind of just chalk it up to, I'm getting older, the road is harsh, doing the old kick step, you know what I mean?
This past July, Reid's symptoms began to intensify, pushing him to go to the emergency room for answers. It was there that doctors gave him a surprising diagnosis.
The doctors tell you have congestive heart failure.
Congestive heart failure. That's correct.
But when you hear that, congestive heart failure.
Yeah, that's
are you thinking, no, not me?
Exactly.
Initially, Reid was treated with medication, but at his 3-week follow-up appointment, his cardiologist grew more concerned.
He came in very swollen again, and that is a little unusual in somebody who's been started on treatment for the swelling to come back that quickly.
That evening, Reid had planned to fly across the country for a performance. His doctor, urging him not to go, ran additional blood work.
The blood work confirmed my suspicion. It showed that his heart was failing and it was starting to affect his other organs.
Then they called back a couple hours later and said, you know what, we got these other tests back. You need to come to the emergency room right now.
Well, when you went in, they took you right to the ICU.
Right, because I guess they, with these latest test results, they saw something that required that kind of immediacy.
That's when doctors told Reid that a heart transplant was his only option, immediately placing him on a transplant wait list.
So when we think about status for heart transplant, he was very high on that list because of how ill he was and really dealing with a kind of life or death situation.
They went straight to, let's get a heart. So I got evaluated physically, I got evaluated mentally. And also too, I wanted to let them know at the same time, like, hey, I am worthy of this. If I do get this gift, I intend to respect it and really really live life to the fullest.
It's unusual for a patient to be so sick and to be so warm to the people around them. The way he handled it externally was incredibly calm.
Just 9 days later, Reid received the call he'd been waiting for.
So they're saying, hey, yeah, we got the heart and we want to put it in tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And we like, excuse me? You're like, but that's how it is. So the next night, 10 p.m., we go in, and about 7 hours later, I have a new heart.
How do you feel?
I feel great. How is the recovery process? How is that?
Man, they get you going. I don't know if the bed got to go to somebody else, but they get you going quick over at Cedars. I'll tell you that. I'm looking at the machinery. The heart before was looking like I failed a lie detector test before. You know what I'm saying? But now it's looking like zooming.
Has this changed you? And if so, how has it changed you?
I hope that I'm the same person, but then I'm a better version of myself. Because man, this is a beautiful life. It's great. And I want to be around for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And with his second chance at life, Reid hopes to inspire others to put their health first.
A lot of people walking around with heart disease because they don't go to the doctor. And traditionally, people of color don't go. We don't go for a lot of reasons. Sometimes we don't go because we don't have insurance. A lot of times we don't go because we don't want the bad news.
Yeah.
Or we too busy just hustling, trying to make it from day to day. And we feel like we don't got time, or we'll get over it. Well, you might not. So I'm urging all of my fans, all of y'all loved ones to get it checked out.
You're right about that. I think a lot of people ignore symptoms, but I think having you here talking about it, someone who everyone knows, who we grew up with, it really is an eye-opener.
It's worth it. Get yourself checked out.
Yeah, I know that. And you can't help your family if you're not around. Plain and simple.
He said it's a beautiful life, and he is a beautiful guy. I really love hanging out with Chris. And he says he's feeling energized. He's working on a new comedy special. He's planning more Kid and Play tour dates, and even writing a book, appropriately titled Heart of the Matter.
Great spirit.
Great spirit, great energy, and we just had a great time. And he really wanted to share this message for those out there who may be going through some of these things and don't realize what it is. Go get yourself checked out. And it was a surprise to him, and hopefully it's helping a lot of people.
He's doing all right. Yeah. But I love how he said it's also got to get prepared mentally, not just physically, for the transplant.
It's a big process, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a lot. I love his appreciation for life too. Yeah, he just good spirits. But wow, 9 days later, that's amazing. Medical crisis, hip hop legend Christopher Reid of Kid and Play rushed to the hospital for emergency heart transplant. Christopher Reid is hoping to inspire others by sharing his story. Kid and Play rapper Christopher Reid has revealed he underwent emergency surgery after receiving a scary diagnosis. The musician who spent years performing alongside his friend and collaborator Christopher Martin was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Christopher, 61, I didn't know he was 61, appeared on Good Morning America on Thursday, where he opened up about his diagnosis, how the diagnosis changed the trajectory of his life. He underwent an emergency heart transplant and is now in recovery. New year, new heart, new vibration, he said during the sit-down. The iconic rapper shared, I started to feel a little bit more fatigue than before. And then when you feel that shortness of breath, sleeping a lot more than normal. And I think something you just kind of chalk it up to, I'm getting older, the road is harsh. His symptoms got worse in July, at which point he landed in the emergency room. Doctors confirmed his diagnosis, which Christopher didn't take lightly. Congestive heart failure, he said. That's a bad one. He was first treated with medication, but on a return visit to his cardiologist at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, he learned things weren't going how they should. His swelling was getting worse, and his doctor was concerned. He came in very swollen, Dr. Erica Jones said on the show. That is a little unusual in somebody who has been started on treatment for the swelling to come back that quickly. Blood work revealed Christopher's heart was failing and his other organs were being impacted. He was immediately rushed to ICU, where he was told a heart transplant was his only option. When we think about status for a heart transplant, he was very high on the list because of how ill he was. Cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Laura said he was really dealing with a life or death situation. Christopher said on Good Morning America that he was determined to approach the process with a good attitude and outlook. I wanted to let them know at the same time how I'm worthy of this, he said. If I do get this gift, I intend to respect it and really live life to the fullest. He received a call that he was approved for a transplant 9 days later. They're saying, we got the heart and we want to put it in tomorrow night at 10 p.m., he recalled. About 7 hours later, I have a new heart. The missus says after the surgery, he feels brand new. I hope that I'm the same person, but I know I'm a better version of myself because, man, this is a beautiful life. You know, when someone is that grateful, you're happy that they're able to get, you know, a new organ, so to speak. Wow is all I can say. Julius, your thoughts?
That was his higher power. He led those doctors. Like, no, I'm not ready to take him yet. Let him know this, like, now. Right now. And I know it was a gut punch to hear congestive heart failure. I know it was. And given that he's still so young, he's only 61. That's still young. And it was God looking out for him like, look, I'm providing you this new purpose. And as the saying goes, don't mess it up. Take care of this. Because not many people get this. That's it.
Thank you. In my opinion?
So I love his humility. He is one of those people you never heard anything bad about him. No gossip about him. Like, he didn't stay in the public eye like that, but when he was, it was always something positive. I've always been a big fan of Kid and Play. I grew up with him as well. Watching the house party movies, doing they dance. So to see him get this miracle, to see him putting out that message that everybody should, you know, get themselves checked, I'm a firm believer that people should see doctors. You know what I'm saying? Get all the tests that you need to make sure your body is functioning right. Sometimes the symptoms don't come until it's at the last minute. And so that's why it's always good to have an annual exam to make sure that your body is functioning the way it should. So if I can put anything out in the world, is that I stand by him 100%. Everybody that hears his message should definitely set up a doctor's appointment immediately and make sure you're functioning at 100%. Because if you're not functioning at 100%, it ain't nothing you can do for your family and friends.
Woo. Facts, in my opinion. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, it's a beautiful story, you know, and I'm really glad he got a heart regardless of how he got it. And 9 days, that was beautiful. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but I don't know how many other qualified people got passed over. People have been on the waiting list
for years
like that for years. And he got it in 9 days. God bless him. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna be very, very honest with you, Wayne. I do hear what you're saying 100%. And the reason why I hear you is because, unfortunately, healthcare is tied to finances, right? And he probably had the celebrity and the money. I have never heard of nobody getting a heart in 90 days. And I'm not mad that he got it, but I do understand your perspective. And that's why it's good that we have these conversations, because, you know, the truth is the truth. But I'm very happy for him, but I do hear what you're saying. Katrina, you're next.
Yeah, congratulations to him. I hope you take care of it. I agree with Wayne as always. Yeah, insurance and money makes a difference, because I think Nene's son had a heart transplant, and I don't think he was on the list that long either. But congratulations to him for getting it. and may he take care of it. Don't go out, drinking, drugging, whatever, to mess it up. Do what you got to do to live life. And he said he's going to live it to the fullest. So that's what he needs to do. And that's it, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you. Savannah, your thoughts?
I honestly was starting to feel just like Wayne, how many people got looked over on the list. But after listening to the story, this was his only option, was to get a heart transplant in order to have any type of respectable life. So he had no choice, and by the grace of God, it was just available within a few days. So it was meant for him to have. As in my opinion said, we haven't had stories on Kid and Play on anybody's hot topics or trending topics. They've always been kind of away from social media and not running these streets. It's not like a Ray J. And I think he will respect it. I think he will do right by this second chance that he's been given. And so I'll pray for him that he gets to live another 20 years, and I hope that this is a wake up call, not just for him and others around him, but those that know him, that changing your habits on how you take care of your body and the food you eat, especially. The worst thing that we do to ourselves is we consume sugars. Sugar is deadly to the body. And even the hidden sugars that are in a lot of these foods and processed foods. And we just need to do better. So I hope that he is able to, his story changes others around him to eat a lot more better and exercise, meditate. And I'm happy for him, because he's one that I really do believe would care for it and respect his second chance.
I do. I wholeheartedly believe that he's grateful. And listen, and he's definitely worthy, because it's not like from anything we know he was out there drugging, drinking, and whatever the case may be. So I do think you could tell, like, just his whole mindset and everything, that definitely is grateful. But I think in like, we're saying too, on the flip side, healthcare needs to be accessible to all in equal ways. So that was you went already, Savannah. So yeah, so I wish him the best. I like the way he spoke. I like the way he warned other people to go get help. I like the fact that he just seems so incredibly humble. So blessings his way. And I do believe that he's going to make the best and take care of the heart that he was given. So God bless him, and blessings. I'm looking forward to seeing his book when it comes out. And, looking forward to him being able to do his tours and live his best life. So I'm going to go ahead and move into this next story, where the ex-football player, the ex-football player, unfortunately lost his life.
He was in. I talked to him almost every single day, even in the situations that he was in.
Now on Eyewitness News at 5:30, an NFL player beaten and stabbed to death. For the first time, we're hearing from his heartbroken son. Kevin Johnson's murder is being linked to 3 others at LA area homeless encampments. Eyewitness News first brought you that exclusive development yesterday.
And tonight we're hearing from Johnson's loved ones. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes has more on this emotional story.
With 3 seasons playing in the NFL, Kevin Johnson had some highs.
He's going to go for a touchdown.
But it was the low he hit after his playing career that he is now most recognized for. The former defensive lineman ending up homeless, living in this encampment along a stretch of the LA River in South LA. And just 2 weeks ago, the 55-year-old was beaten and stabbed to death.
My dad was my best friend. I was I talked to him almost every single day, even in the situations that he was in. He was just a loving, gentle person.
Brandon Johnson is Kevin's son. He helped investigators identify his dad's body at the scene. He says his dad first found the encampment only 6 months ago and would stay there just a couple times a week. His family says Kevin was easygoing and non-confrontational.
He wasn't the type of person that would touch a fly. He had no anger in his heart, no evil. That just was not him.
But investigators say Johnson's death is just one of 4 murders in and around the Compton Creek encampment over the past 4 months. Michelle Steele, a 52-year-old woman, was shot in the head on October 5th. She died after a little more than a month in the hospital. 3 weeks later, on December 4th, 52-year-old Octavio Arias was beaten to death at the encampment. Johnson was bludgeoned and stabbed to death on January 21st. And then just last week, Mauro Alfaro, also in his 50s, was killed at the Compton Creek encampment. Cause of death, blunt force trauma. Brandon Johnson says his dad knew the area was dangerous, but downplayed it.
He wouldn't put emphasis on it because he didn't want me to worry. So he would just kind of brush it off like, it'd be all right, son.
But it wasn't. Sheriff's detectives say it's possible one person is responsible for all 4 murders, and they're looking for information from the public to help with the investigation. Brandon just wants the killer to be caught and people to know his dad was a good man.
He just wasn't some homeless man staying in an encampment. He was a father, a friend, family member, ex-husband who loved everyone around him. And I don't want the encampment to be seen as how he went out.
Now, the family says they believe Johnson may have suffered from CTE after all those years of professional football. They are in contact with the Concussion Legacy Foundation in Boston. They're asking that group to check his brain for the degenerative disease. In La Crescenta, Rob Hayes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
You know, I'm tired of them studying all these brains, but yet they haven't come up with anything to diagnose these people pre-death and to actually help them. So you study his brain and you find out he had CTE, then what? But anyway, Kevin Johnson, ex-NFL player, slaying sparks serial killer fears. So former NFL defensive lineman Kevin Johnson's violent death is turning into a full-blown murder mystery, and cause fear could be tied to a string of killings targeting unhoused victims in South LA. Johnson was found dead on January 21st inside a homeless encampment from blunt head trauma and stab wounds, according to investigators. Now the case has taken an even darker turn. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is digging into whether Johnson's murder is connected to the 3 other deaths that all unfolded within blocks of each other over the past few months. Detectives are also looking at several other brutal killings in the area, including one victim gunned down and another beaten to death. Authorities have kept details about a 3rd case under wraps, but confirms it's being lumped into the same probe. They are zeroing in on the eerie similarities, same general area, vulnerable population, and a tight timeline stretching from fall 2025 into early 2026, raising serious concerns someone could be systematically targeting encampments. Johnson played defensive tackle in the NFL for the Philadelphia Eagles and Oakland Raiders in the 1990s, and later played in the area football league with the Orlando Predators and the Los Angeles Avengers. Authorities said the former pro athlete had fallen on hard times and was living in an encampment where he was ultimately killed. So far, detectives are racing to figure out whether they're dealing with random acts of violence or something more dangerous. Authorities are urging anyone with information to come forward as the investigation ramps up. Julius, your thoughts?
My condolences to this man's family. And I hope the person who was responsible for his unaliving and also the unaliving of the others mentioned in this story is brought to justice, and those families can have closure that that person is behind bars and hopefully put under the jail. And CTE, it does need to be an official diagnosis, and it does need to have a treatment plan. But the institutions, they wait until after these players and ex-players spiral. Then it's like, well, they already fell through the cracks, so we don't care. When they should have a plan in place to prevent this. And I'm pretty sure the ex-players and even the current players, they will probably take advantage of the treatment plan. And again, my condolences go out to the family.
Yes. In my opinion, your thoughts?
It's always sad when we hear stories like this, but it's even sadder that the police didn't put two and two together until somebody with a name on them ended up unalived. Had they took this serious when the first or the second left here, maybe his life would have been saved. But sometimes they don't do their job until somebody's name that's famous is on it, or somebody whose family just would not let it rest. It's a shame the way the homeless is treated in our country. They're treated like they're nothing. Nobody gives them a handout. Nobody tries to help. It's really sad that in this country that we're supposed to be one of the richest countries, but yet and still our homeless rate is astronomical. Where they're having to stay in camps, being vulnerable. I don't know this situation. He may have been a proud man that didn't want to go stay with his son. He may have had mental problems where his son couldn't have him now. I don't know the situation. But I know one thing. He didn't deserve to go out like this. To be beaten and stabbed is overkill. And whoever did this is getting a joy out of it. So I pray that they find this fool and take him off the streets before it's somebody else. Or even worse, it's a child that's walking down the street over here in this area. If they know it's this bad, then they should have officers patrolling that area. Just because they are homeless doesn't mean they're not human. We have to stop treating people that don't have like they're nothing and treat them like they're somebody.
Thank you, in my opinion. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, this is very unfortunate. And I mean, his son stood up there and said his father was loving and a great father. I think I could have convinced my father to move in or find resources or something. It in no way on God's green earth could I be living like that man was living and your father living in a rat infested hole. I don't care his CTE, his whatever. It's nowhere in the world. I would have gotten help or whatever. It's nowhere in the world he would have been in that condition, lived in that condition, and you tell me how loving and how great, and he wouldn't hurt anybody. But yet and still he's living out there. That don't make sense to me. May the man rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. Like I said, we got questions. It's okay. I had questions. Katrina, your thoughts?
Wayne, me and you is the same little car. Because I'm just thinking the same thing. There's no way that I could ever let my mom or dad live on the streets and I can close my eyes on a bed. I couldn't do that. I mean, because it would be eating me up. There's no possible way. And I'm not saying that the son probably didn't ask him and he probably said, no, I'm okay. But there's no way. I wouldn't even been able to sleep. And the fact of the matter is, these people need to know about this football thing. You get your body bruised up, but basically they use you like cattle. Once they
Mhm.
put you out in the field, you getting knocked around, upside down, pushed, boot. I don't like football. You know, I have grandkids that to participate in, but I do not like football. I don't like watching football. I just go because they are playing.
Mhm.
Because to me, it's like a sport. I mean, you can get hit the wrong way and it can take you right on out. Regardless if you got on armor or you got on your stuff, you know, it's a dangerous sport. And you getting hit the way you get hit. Some of them get broken ankles, ACL torn. I mean, and then after the ACL messed up, they gone. So the time that you put into this game, you can't do it anymore. So if you haven't invested right in keeping your money and not out there spending it stupidly, there's nothing else left because they don't give you insurance once they put you out of there. That contract is done. So, like I said, they use these people, put them out to pasture when they get finished with them, and send them to the slaughterhouse because that's it. And like I said, if that was my mom or dad, there's no way I could sleep with my eyes closed, knowing that they out there on the street. I don't know if he asked his dad to come there or not. I'm not for sure, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't. That's all I got.
Yeah. It's sad, but I don't know. I did have questions and I was thinking the same thing about the son, but I'll move on and may he rest in peace. And I do my condolences to the family. I'm gonna go ahead and roll into our last story.
Even Savannah didn't go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Savannah. You know what? My screen, Julia's dropped. Savannah, your thoughts. I was like, wait a minute, my screen switched up. Thank you, Katrina. Savannah.
I see that. Thank you, Katrina. I'm going to agree with Wayne and Katrina on that, and because I do have questions, and not just from the son only, from the sister, because I'm pretty sure when this man was in his prime during his NFL career, he was possibly taking care of family members with his earnings and his just his overall celebrity. So for him to be in those conditions, they didn't say anything about he had any mental health issues or he was battling depression, or they didn't mention any of that. All they talked about that he was kind and loving. So I am side-eyeing the family of why he was out there. As far as law enforcement, David, do you recall that story, the Gilgo Beach
Yeah.
M's out there in Jersey, where law enforcement did not pay attention to missing young girls in that area, and when they finally caught up to it, it was like 9, 10, 11, I don't know, 13 unalivings that they found out there buried in the beach. And this man was right there under their noses. It could be someone who thinks that that the homeless population is a burden or a nuisance, and thinking that they are doing something great for society by eliminating them. But of course, LAPD has a horrible history of taking care of their of the people who live, the unhoused, but or just the minority community all over. But I think there unfortunately might be a couple more before they go ahead and label this as a potential serial unaliver out there.
Yeah. Super sad. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll into the very last story. And this is a young mom that lost her life. She went out partying with friends. This partying thing, too, is getting crazy. I guess when you party with the
even know.
Hold on one second.
So extreme. Like, I don't even know how she ended up over there in that building, nonetheless, that she ended up in a garbage bag.
We hear tonight from the life partner of a woman whose dismembered body was found in a plastic bag in Brooklyn. He reveals tonight new information about the final hours before the woman's death. And good evening, everyone, at 6 o'clock. I'm Bill Ritter.
And I'm Liz Cho. The medical examiner still trying to figure out the cause of death of 39-year-old Michelle Montgomery, the mother of 4, who was found dismembered in Brooklyn on Sunday.
Night Shift Workers found her at the Boren Quinn Public Houses in Bushwick. And tonight, we're going to hear from her life partner, the father of her youngest child, just 10 months old.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live in Bushwick with our lead story tonight. Darla.
Good evening, Bill and Liz. We are told that 39-year-old Michelle Montgomery did things like make gift baskets and go all out for decorations for her children during the holidays. So her family really is perplexed as to find out who might have wanted to bring her harm. They know that she was having dinner and hanging out with friends here near the intersection of Flushing Avenue and Bushwick Avenue on Saturday night. And then just hours later, her body was found 5 blocks up the road on Bushwick Avenue in a building that she had no connection to, dismembered and deceased.
She left this house vibrant, happy, and alive.
This is what Michelle Montgomery posted just after midnight Sunday. By 9:30 a.m., the 39-year-old mother of 4 was dead. Her body discovered in the basement of a Brooklyn apartment building, dismembered in a garbage bag.
That was hard. I broke down because I still can't believe it. Still.
Montgomery's gruesome murder, a total and utter shock to her family. She and her life partner, Anthony Echevarria, have a 10-month-old son.
It has been one of the hardest things to really look at. It's watching him look for her and knowing that she's not coming back.
He says she left home around 9:30 Saturday night to hang out with friends. Family members say at one point she was hanging out at a local restaurant where she posted this video of herself dancing and having a good time. But they say she has no ties to Berequin houses on Bushwick Avenue, where a memorial with her picture and candles have been placed in honor of where her remains were found by a maintenance worker.
It's so extreme. I don't even know how she ended up over there in that building. Nonetheless, that she ended up in a garbage bag. That is mad extreme.
Echevarria pointing out these TikTok videos of her fun-loving spirit and her dedication as a mother.
Super mom. She made sure none of these kids wanted for nothing. Nothing. They always got what they needed. They always got what they wanted.
She was active on social media, posting just last week, spend time with the people you love before it's too late. And back in December, nearly 2 months to the day of her murder, she wrote on Facebook, "If I died tomorrow, my Facebook wall would be filled with posts about broken friendships. Please don't use my death for some sympathy. If you love me now."
Every day we came, got up, took care of these kids. We took care of each other. Nothing wrong. Nothing.
Now Montgomery leaves behind a 19-year-old son, an 11 and 12-year-old daughter, and her 10-month-old son. At this hour, the NYPD still not yet publicly identified any suspects, nor how she actually passed away. If you have any information about this incident, please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. This family desperate for answers. Reporting live in Bushwick, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
How sad is that? Hold on one second. Dismember with what tools that quickly? It's just crazy. I don't know. It's like somebody she went out with, and we're finding that a lot, right? Somebody you going out with, they really ain't your friend. Because who would have just took her life and then had the tools to dismember her body? This is wild. Mama 4 out with friends made confusing FaceTime call the night before her dismembered remains were found. Michelle Montgomery's husband, which is her life partner, but whatever, right? Says she was vibrant and alive when she left home the night before her remains were found. I think this is a inside job. One of these friends. Michelle Montgomery was headed for a night out with friends when she was last seen by her husband. Anthony told news outlets that she was vibrant and alive when she left home on Saturday, January 31st. Montgomery's sister says the same evening she got a call from Michelle that lasted about 1 second, per the New York Times. A New York woman whose dismembered remains were found inside a plastic bag over the weekend was reportedly in a happy mood when she was last seen by her husband the night before. The victim has been identified as Michelle Montgomery, a 39-year-old mother of 4. Officers with the New York Police Department responded to a report of an unconscious person at a public housing complex in Brooklyn on Sunday, February the 1st, found Montgomery's remains in the basement, the department confirms to People. A law enforcement official not authorized to speak on the matter told the New York Times that Montgomery had been dismembered and her remains were found in a plastic bag in the trash compactor. Her family has since spoken out, shedding light on their last communication with her the night before. Anthony, Montgomery's husband, whom she shares 4 children ages 19, 12, 11, and 10 months, says she seemed jovial on Saturday evening, per ABC News. She left this house vibrant, happy, and alive, he told the outlet. Anthony further told News 12 that his wife had gone out with friends. He told Pix 11 he didn't know which friends she was out with. Is this making sense to y'all? I got questions. Montgomery's sister told the Times that she received a FaceTime call from her on Saturday evening with music playing in the background. Serenity Montgomery says the FaceTime call came around 10 p.m. and cut off just after 1 second. She was unsure if Michelle had intended to make the call. A little over an hour later, Michelle posted a social media video where she was seen dancing with 2 other people, according to friends, and Pix 11 reported. No arrests have been made as of Thursday. The NYPD tells People leaving Michelle's family in search of answers. We will get justice, Anthony said, according to News 12. I promise that. In my opinion.
I've never heard of a story this crazy and this many holes in it. What I will say is there's something fishy about your friends. When you go out and your body is dismembered and found in a project that you have no ties to. You don't know nobody over there. You ain't ever been over there. This is the craziest story I've ever heard of. And what friends don't make sure you good before they leave? So yeah, I'm side-eyeing the friends on this one. I do see some holes in this story. I need some answers. I hope the police is digging into their story a little bit more, because the FaceTime was a little picky for me. If somebody FaceTime me and it was only 1 second, I don't care if it was by accident or not. I'm finna call you back and make sure you good. I don't understand. I really don't never understand these stories. How people just let this stuff happen and that nobody checks into it or nothing. It's definitely something up with these friends. And I need to know if these some longtime friends or these some Fayweather friends. But something is up with these friends.
Something is up with the friends. I think Jerome said in the chat about the trash compactor. So I grew up in the Bronx. I lived in buildings, and some buildings have, and my dad building actually had it too. Some buildings have like on each floor where you can, but they're not that big, so you ain't throwing big bags of garbage in there. But they have the trash compactor, I guess thing, or you throw the garbage down the chute. So I'm wondering if someone was in that building in somebody's apartment and they chopped up, because where are you chopping her up at? And then they just threw it down the chute. Yeah. Somebody is putting in the bag. This is very sad. Savannah, your thoughts? Very sad.
I agree completely in my opinion. And also how her husband don't know who she was with.
Well,
I'm concerned.
Savannah, that's why I said we got questions. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You I mean, at least tell your partner, hey, I'm going out with Barbara, or and her cousin, or something. Like, you should, and we're gonna go out to Benihana's, and something. He was just as lost, and why she was where she was found. And even in these apartments, I'm pretty sure people have Ring cameras, so I'm hoping that there's some type of video somewhere. But the world is just so crazy and dangerous You should always be vigilant, checking in with your loved ones. And I agree. I'm side-eyeing friends. I'm side-eyeing establishments. And do they have her phone? Did they check her phone? I got questions, Eva. I'm so confused. You know that your phone is your greatest map locator. And did they check her messages, who she was talking to? There's some questions in this story that we definitely need answer before we can, blame completely the friends, or did she hook up with a stranger? Um, yeah, it's unfortunate. Poor children are now without their mother in a horrific way. She has left this earth, but there's parts of this story that are missing.
Well, and the other sad part is I don't know what's going to happen because the partner that some articles is calling a husband, but it's the partner. He's only the father to the 10-month-old. So the 19-month-old, the 11, the 10, or 11, 12, or whatever the other ages were, he's not their biological father. And like you said, I tell my sister where I'm going. The father of my baby and serving as the father to my other kids, I'm going out and you don't know who I'm going out with? A hot stinking mess. Wayne?
Well, what a way to start off Black History Month. Now, I sometimes, when people are talking about how people meet their demise, like sometimes like you kind of emotions. I think if I was speaking about somebody that close and something that gruesome, I don't know if I could hold myself together. I don't know if that means anything. People handle death all kind of ways. It's no way all these people, like I said, there's got to be more to the story because they never mentioned anything about the friend she was with, which would be easy to find out who she was with, who she was hanging out with, find some kind of a timeline. So it's so much that's missing from this that you can't try to pin it either way. You don't know what relationship of the friends are to the partner. I mean, he's vague about things. I mean, none of it sounds really like this loving family to let your partner go out that late at night, don't know where they are, don't have, you got this great relationship. They should have something on the phone, the signal where you can find out where they are or something. So it's a little more to this story than her just being out there. That's it.
You know what, Wayne? You just hit me on the side right there because you are correct. Why wouldn't you let your at least your partner track you? In this day and age when we have the opportunity to allow people to track us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this story. Something in the water ain't clean. Katrina, your thoughts?
I was thinking maybe it was one of the other kids' father. I mean, because whoever did that, it wasn't just I'm doing this to do this. I'm doing this. This is out of like attraction love or whatever. It's like I'm mad with you. This is a killing of passion. Cause who finna take the time up? Do you know how long it takes you to chop up somebody's body?
Woo.
And then you throwing it in the track down the compactor. That's not just somebody just sitting up there. I don't know who she went out to be with. Maybe they got mad about it because she going back home. Maybe they feel played. I don't know because we don't know all the story. But whoever did this to her, it wasn't just a random person or whatsoever. It's somebody that she knew, and it's probably one of the men. I forgive me, God, if I'm wrong, but I'm just saying whoever did it, it was a killing of passion. It wasn't just no unaliving. It was not any unaliving. They would have just left you on the streets, but they took the time up to chop you up and to hide the body. So that's crazy. That's crazy. You got to know who you getting involved with. You got to know who you having kids with. Cause these people are insane. Some of them might get jealous because you with you and moved on. I mean, it's a lot to go on with this story. But like I said, whoever did it, they didn't do it just to do it. They did it because it was a killing of passion and they was mad at you by something. Because it takes you a while to chop up a body. A while. It's not that easy like people think it is. So whoever did it, I don't know if it was the men, women, I don't know who it was, but it was totally planned out. Because you got to find a place to go do this. Like, nobody see any blood anywhere. Like, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing. So where did you do this? And then you knew that if you put it in the trash compactor, that it would be hard to trace back to where you did it from. So, like I said, there was a well thought out plan. Whoever did it, I don't know who did it. I hope we get some information later. But whoever did it, it was a well thought out plan, and it wasn't just a unaliving. It was a passion unaliving. But that's all I got.
No, I think we're like connecting dots here. And you know what, Katrina, because all of these past lovers seem to come back and they don't just want to have a conversation with you, they want to take you out. Just like, remember, we still got to follow the story with the dentist and his wife that got killed by her ex-husband. So when you said that, it automatically was like, yeah, and you're right. Who just dismembers your body like that? And somebody wrote it sound like a setup, and I'm in agreement with that. This wasn't random. This was, they called her out. I do believe she was set up. But I also don't understand how the hubby, hold on one second. I also don't understand why the hubby didn't know who she was hanging with. Why are you hanging with somebody that your mate doesn't know? The main people that I hang with, if I get involved with anybody, they all know them. Like, you going with so-and-so tonight? That's who I'm going with. Yes. This is bananas and super, super sad. I'm going to stay connected to the story because, like I said, we got questions. Christopher Reid from Kid and Play, I'm wishing and praying for the best for him. I hope that his body really takes that heart and doesn't reject it, and that he gets to live a good, long life with his new heart. The ex-NFL player, if they do study his brain, I hope eventually they come up with how to either prevent this CTE. Now, at one time, because I saw a whole docuseries on this CTE, they were supposed to be making special helmets for these football players to try to at least prevent or combat this CTE. I don't know if that ever happened. I'm not a big sports person, but I'll check into it. But if this family is going to donate his brain so that it can be studied, okay, then I need them to do something to come up with how do you prevent it and save these football players. This mom that was dismembered, I'm going to stay connected to the story because something in the water is not clean. Listen, guys, y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do me a favor, hit it on the way out. I love y'all. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.
Choo, choo.